Hey, you've made it to the podcast Recovery Captured, hosted by me, Shannon Louise, a certified recovery coach and self-verified addict. Join me on my journey through my recovery from mind-altering substances, eating disorders, depression, and much, much more. During this podcast, you'll hear my personal experience, thoughts, and opinions, as well as my guests' stories through their own recovery. I hope that you're able to take something away from this podcast and use it as a tool to help you see that your story is picture perfect. Does anyone need anything? Maybe a fidge?
I got some fidgies right here.
Oh, that donut's really cute.
You can squeeze my donut.
I got some would you rathers for you again.
Oh, listen, I got some would you rathers too.
Oh boy.
I put it on my
I saw that
Instagram.
on my story, and I got some people. I got some from Jilly. 4:30 in the morning. She's
Why?
like, don't mind me. She I don't know. She just.
Why? That's so early.
That's all right. You know, sometimes we can't sleep.
Yeah, that's true.
Some of these are really good.
Oh God.
Would you rather have a tail or a unicorn horn?
Like forever and always?
Tail.
Yeah, a tail. I feel like you could tuck it.
I wouldn't want to stab somebody giving them head. Impale.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather always have bad gas or always have really dry mouth?
Oh.
I already always have bad gas. So that one's easy.
Bad gas.
I said dry mouth because then you just
no.
hydrate all the time.
That's true, but the amount of hydrating I did pregnant, I had the driest mouth. It was so annoying.
Well, even though you have like really stinky farts, does it mean you're farting all the time, or is it just like when you do
It just says bad gas.
I feel
So
like
you
that means
probably are
both
farting
stinky and
all the
often.
SBDF? Okay, would you rather stub your toe every day for the rest of your life or hit your funny bone?
Oh, funny bone.
The stubbed toe, that just like lingers. It
Yeah.
always hurts. You feel like you broke it.
Do you remember that one time I broke my toe?
Yeah.
I was at my friend's house and I stubbed it running around a pool. Kids don't do it at home. And then the next day, it was like 4th of July, and we're over at Patty and Midge's, and Tyler decides to throw me in the pool, so I'm like hobbling away, and then I re-stubbed it on a brick.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Then we had to go to the hospital.
Oh my God. And were they like, it's a broken toe, we can't do anything?
We can't do anything. That's why it hangs.
Oh no.
Okay, would you rather always have to hop around on one foot or always have to squat?
Is there a reason why I'm doing it?
No.
I'm just
You just
standing
have
there
to.
talking to you. Oh, wait, God. Okay. And then I just squat.
Yeah, you just have to. I said hop around on one foot. You can explain that away like you broke your foot or...
Yeah, that's true. But then I was thinking of the ass I would have if I was squatting all the time, and that made me really excited. So
if you're hopping on one foot, you have sweet calves.
That's true. But Tyler's got calves covered.
I think I would just squat. I feel like it would hurt my bunions if I was jumping around too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
All right. Now, would you rather drink hot dog water or cottage cheese water?
Hot dog water,
Stop your-
100% all day. Cottage cheese is so gross. That I can't even look at it. It's so gross.
People eat it with peaches.
Ugh.
I do.
And
Cottage cheese and peaches, it's so good.
No.
I'm an old lady.
No.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's really good.
Cottage cheese is the worst.
I have some at home. I
So
eat it
wait,
straight.
would you?
I would have to go hot dog water only because mayonnaise water is the most disgusting thing to me, and I feel like cottage cheese is just one step away from mayonnaise water. So I would do the hot dog.
Or sour cream water. Like,
What? Oh my God.
Ketchup water. I wouldn't. I have a thing with
Guys, we
condiments.
just ate.
okay.
I know.
Would you rather your only mode of transportation be a donkey or a giraffe?
Oh my God.
Giraffe. 100%.
That's what Ben said yesterday. And I said, well, what if you go on the highway? How is it going under overpasses? How are you going to ever park in a parking garage?
Limbo.
You got to park your giraffe.
I mean, for
His poor
logistics,
neck.
yeah, giraffe makes more sense. I mean, donkey makes more sense for logistics, but giraffe is like, oh, I love them. They're so
The
cute.
neck flopping around.
That's how they fight. Okay, someone gave me this one. Unlimited amount of Oreos or $1 million.
Oreos.
I would have $1 million, so then I can therefore buy whatever kind of Oreo I want.
I
at
would say
any
the $1
time.
million. Because I don't want unlimited Oreos.
Yeah, that's...
Okay, would you rather be physically stronger than most people or be able to fly?
Physically stronger.
Be able to fly 100%. I'm already stronger than a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. I want to fly everywhere.
I'm
I
a
don't want
weak-ass bitch.
After going on those airplanes, I don't want to fly around other people.
Yeah,
I want to
that's true.
fly myself wherever I want to go.
I don't go very many places, so I don't know.
Speaking of planes, I have one. Someone sent me. This is ironic because it's kind of like on the same wavelength. Never be able to go to the gym again or never be able to go on a plane again.
Gym. I work out at home anyways.
Yeah, I would never want to go to the gym again. Imagine if I wanted to travel across the seas.
Yeah, if you can't fly yourself, you have to go on a plane.
And your giraffe
Yeah.
doesn't have long enough legs.
It's true.
Okay.
All right.
Would you rather have a face that everyone laughs at or a name that everyone laughs at?
A name.
A name, definitely.
I already have that name, so.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible. Would you rather eat Gushers or Dunkaroos for the rest of your life?
Dunkaroos, because they're frosting. I want to just eat the frosting.
It's like us in the Fun Dip. We just
my
want the
Just the
chalky
stick.
the chalky stick.
No.
Give me that bland stick. Eat it all day.
Would you rather have a huge booger hanging out of your nose for the rest of your life or a pimple on your forehead for the rest of your life?
I already have pimples on my forehead all the time.
No.
I was just picturing the booger like there all the time. Just all the time.
That quick whip of the head and it like slaps you on the cheek.
Yeah, I think pimple would probably be my
We can
answer.
put makeup over that.
Yep.
Would you rather communicate with animals or read people's minds?
Animals. I don't want to
Animals.
know what people think because people suck.
Yeah. Animals.
Animals.
Would you rather never be stuck in traffic again or never get another cold?
Never get another cold.
Same.
Yep. I get sick a lot. It's annoying.
I don't, but when I do, I don't like it.
Would you rather have a monkey as a pet or a chameleon?
Monkey.
A monkey? Why would you want a chameleon?
Ben said chameleon. I don't know.
Get out of town. I'm sorry, Ben. I love you. Okay. So there was this one. It was ironic because it was from someone. It says, "Would you rather have free gas or free beer for life?" I did remind him
Easy.
that I'm
Gas.
sober.
Yep.
But yeah,
Gas is so expensive.
gas is so expensive. Regardless, even if I was drinking,
And
I
if
would
it-
rather have gas.
Okay, so if you have the free beer, is it the same kind of beer? Is it like you have your one kind of Oreos for the rest of your life? Is it like you have Coors Light for the rest of your life? Or is it any kind of beer you ever want is free?
I'm
good
going to say it's
question.
any kind of beer. And
Oh, see, I would assume
go
the
beer.
opposite. And I don't want to drink the same beer forever and always. I want free gas.
Yeah.
If it was mixed beer, I mean, the 4-packs that I buy are like $15.
Well, listen,
Gas is
we
so
took
pricey.
the $1 million over the lifetime supply of Oreos, so now you can use that $1 million to buy
Yeah.
your
It's true.
Would you
beers.
rather be forced to dance all day, every day, until you get a perfect score on Dancing with the Stars, or be forced to eat mashed potatoes until you get a perfect score on Beat the Chefs? I don't know what Beat the Chefs is, but dance all the
I just
time,
wanna dance.
or eat mashed potatoes all the time.
I suck at dancing. I'll take potatoes.
Oh, see, I said dance.
I like dance. Would you rather have vaginas in your armpits or an armpit between your legs?
Oh my God, armpit between. Oh no, oh my God.
Do I get pleasure out of my
That's
armpit vaginas?
Yeah.
Because if I get pleasure, I got 2 armpits.
But then you gotta like cover them up all the time.
Do you though?
Do you wear thongs over your armpits?
Wait. Oh, that's hard, because then does that mean if you have an armpit where your vagina should be that you'd then no longer I guess I would have
armpit
to
sex.
Oh.
I don't like that question.
Yeah, I guess I would do vagina armpits. Begrudgingly.
This is also a very inappropriate one, but we're going to go for it. Would you rather just have anal or oral for the rest of your life?
Oral.
We know where we stand, Becca. Last one, Shelby. Go for it.
Oh, I think I did all of mine. Hold on, let me
Oh.
check.
Oh my God, this is
I did all of mine.
All right, one more. Would you rather never be able to listen to music again or only have to listen to Christmas music?
Ugh.
Ooh.
Never listen to music again. I hate Christmas music. Unless it's on the day that we're setting up the tree. Only while we're setting up the tree, not the whole day. Or Christmas Day. Maybe even Christmas Eve, but other than that, I don't ever want Christmas music.
I'd get down with Christmas music.
I would get down.
No.
I feel like there's a lot of artists that do a lot of covers. Some of it's okay. I just love music. I couldn't not have
I
music.
know, but I hate Christmas music.
I
so
get
much.
excited when
No,
Star 92.9 puts on their Christmas
no.
music like the day after Thanksgiving.
It's my favorite.
They did it early last year and I was like, yes.
That's when I set up my tree. Thanksgiving night. It's up
That's
until
wonderful.
the first of the
Yeah.
year.
Is it real or fake?
It's fake. Well, now it's nothing because
the dog peed on it.
Finn decided to pee on my little mini tree.
Oh no.
So yeah, we no longer have a tree. It's probably just going to be fake because I don't know.
Tight space.
Tight space.
We did fake and then it was so dirty
Ew.
and dusty.
Smells.
And like having to expand the branches out and
Yeah,
it
it makes
took
me
so
really
long.
angry, but I don't want a real tree. It's too much work.
we-
And they have ticks. Remember that year that Dad's tree had ticks all
sometimes
in
they
it?
do have ticks.
Ooh,
Your
that's
dad told me that
disgusting.
story, yeah. But no, we've gotten real the past. Well, since Mac was born, I was like, we're doing real tree, and they've been really nice, and we've actually really enjoyed it. And the needles haven't been too bad, and it's actually way less work than the fake branches that I was.
We've had the same fake tree that Mike had when he was little.
Oh my
And
god!
every year I say, I hate this tree. We're getting a new tree. And then we never do.
Well, maybe it'll be time this year.
We'll see. Whoa.
So, thank you for the icebreakers.
Mm-hmm.
Always fun. Thank you, followers, fans, for
Listening to me
co-host.
again.
Only co-host for providing me with some good content. So we are here again with my sisters, Becca and Shelby.
Hello.
Hello.
I
Last-
promised to talk loud this time. I'm sorry.
This is the part deux.
Part two. Part two.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we are here today, and I'm going to interview Becca, and Shelby's going to chime in. And today we're going to kind of touch on the topic of depression, mental health.
Mental health.
Mental health is, I am unfortunately riddled through and through with mental health.
Challenges.
Oh my God, so many. Anxiety, depression, PTSD, ADHD, like whatever you could think of, I most likely have it. And it sucks. Day to day, it can get really hard.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's awful. And it's also hard when you aren't diagnosed or you don't, like when you don't know
Yeah, you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah, and like, you know, you get older and it's later in life, and you're like, maybe I should actually ask about XYZ, and then you're like, oh shit, well, that could have been better.
Right. Or
gotten better earlier.
Right. Right. How much did you miss out on life because you've had to stay in your bed because you're so depressed or whatever. But it's also what I've come across was, how do I approach my doctor about it?
Yeah. Yeah. And when? Like, when did you first get diagnosed with like anxiety and depression?
Early in high school. It was, I talked about it on one of my other podcasts. I was really suicidal, and I had cuts all over me, and my teacher found out, and they called Dad.
Yeah.
And Dad came in, and we had 211 called, and I had to do all this stuff. And so they put me into therapy, and she diagnosed me with PTSD, and
I didn't know that.
You didn't? Mm-mm. Oh my God, that was like huge. It really affected Dad.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
But I was also not in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, so I did that, and I went through therapy, and I chose to still use drugs, which doesn't help for your mental health.
Right.
And it affects it in a negative way, especially when you're using medication and you're drinking, and it just, like, well, what is it doing for me? You know, when I'm just fucking up the treatment.
Yeah.
And then with one of my recent, like 6 years ago, exes, I hit another lull and went back to therapy and was diagnosed with like a specific kind of depression, and then like the seasonal depression as well. And then I saw a psychologist and got on certain meds, and then I did the EMDR. And
you talked about that.
Yeah, and then recently, the latest thing, well, I got help like over a year ago for my eating disorder. And I heard people talking about it. I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it.
Right.
So that's where I signed up and did it. And she's like, well, if you know, I get help with my health insurance if I talk to my doctor and get diagnosed. And
right. Yep.
I, sure enough, got diagnosed with AFRID. I forget the acronym, but it's a restrictive kind of eating disorder. And then I've always struggled with attention, more so of like comprehension and whatever. There's a bunch of other stuff that I'm not really going to go into, but I felt that there was more. And so I went to my doctor, and she told me to walk for 20 minutes a day and go see a therapist for something that I thought I had ADHD. And I was like, that's not going to help. I already work out.
Thanks for
I've
that.
talked to someone since high school. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I went to my nurse practitioner, and I had to fill out a form. She's like, okay, well, right here shows us something. And we got in more depth and stuff. And that's where she was able to help me, and I was able to get on medication that,
Yep. Wow.
has helped me.
You've done a lot more investigating yourself and looking into how to help yourself much more than I have.
Yeah, well, I have, I feel that I've suffered way too long.
Yeah. Yeah. That I hear that. I don't know how long I've had anxiety and depression. It's always been kind of a thing. High school, I didn't look into it until like junior year of college.
Yeah.
Where it was like getting so bad, like my roommates were like, you walk into our apartment and we can feel like there's like a cloud over our apartment because of you. Yeah. And they're like, we don't want to live like that. And I was like, oh shit. Like, it's not just me. It's affecting other people. And I did have a bout of like self-harm in high school, but I didn't talk about it. I didn't get help, didn't do anything of that. So yeah, it was later in college, that I finally like started working on, getting medication. But I never filled out like a questionnaire. I never I went to my doctor's office up here in Vermont, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I have depression, anxiety, and I got a couple questions asked, and they're like, okay, well, let's just try this. And then that medication didn't really work. I tried it for a couple of years, and then we tried a different medication, and then we tried a little bit more, and it took like 5-6 years to finally figure out what worked. And sorry, I'm not like looking at you at all. But it's okay.
Did you ever try like therapy?
No, never got recommended therapy. Yeah, they literally were just like, oh, here's some pills. Hopefully that works.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I need my medication.
Yes. Yep.
For my life.
Yep.
Right?
It's a chemical imbalance.
Exactly. 100% I agree with medication, but I also believe that there's
more.
Exactly. More to go with it, and I think therapy goes hand in hand with it.
Yep, and I just started last year. Was when I started going to therapy.
I didn't start until late last year.
Yep.
And that's how I finally determined that I needed to reach out to my doctor to get medication early this year, because therapy alone wasn't
doing it. Yeah, and therapy is so great, but sometimes it just isn't. It isn't enough, and for some people it is, and that's awesome. But when you got a chemical imbalance, you can't and then it's hard. It sucks when when you don't have it, you don't get it.
Yeah,
right?
You can't explain it.
Yeah, people
in a way that somebody understands.
Yeah, don't be in a bad mood.
Right.
Just don't think negative thoughts. Man, I wish I could turn that off.
Wouldn't it be so easy?
Yeah. Right?
Just be happy.
Yeah, just be happy. Just be content.
Just go out.
It's not how that works. Yeah. Just go for a 20-minute walk. Yep. And you'll be fine. And do those things help? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Exercise. There's a lot. But I don't choose to have the issues that I have. I don't. Life would be easier if I didn't. I would be a better mom if I didn't have these issues. There's a lot of things. And
you're a great mom, Becca.
Thanks. I try, but I could do better.
Yeah, well, we can all do better.
I was going to say
things,
we all could.
Yeah.
We all could do better, but you do great for what you got going on.
Thanks.
For real.
Thanks. I try.
So you mentioned earlier that you've been in this kind of depressive.
Yeah. So the past week and a half. Well, I've been super stressed out. My husband was gone. Tyler, your brother was gone for a really short deployment, but it was a month, and so it was me and a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old, and so I was super stressed out, but I was busy, so I don't have the time to sit and think, I guess. And now that he just got back, and I just hit this slump, and I think it's just everything I was holding in, kind of letting go, and I've just been kind of miserable. But I'm so relieved he's back, and he's such a help with the girls, and now I'm not doing all the housework and trying to deal with the girls and do bedtimes, just everything. So, oh, well, why aren't you happy that, and I am relieved, and it's less stressful, but for some reason you have
more time to stew.
Yeah. And just I don't know what's causing it right now.
Do you track your cycle?
No, but it's also really off right now because I have a stupid IUD that I don't. Yeah.
So what does your depression look like?
My depression looks like no energy. Actually, a lot. I get very resentful and angry, and frustrated very quickly. I got invited to go out on a friend's boat, and I just I couldn't. It wasn't what I had planned for the end of the week, and it totally threw me off because it was going to be I didn't know about it, and I just couldn't handle it. But it's something just going and enjoying something like that. I was no, I can't. So it's missing out on things, just really getting in my head, and I get in and this is something I talked to my therapist about, but I get in a cycle of like talking very poorly to myself. Like I'm not good enough. I could be doing this better. Well, you know, if I did this and this, then this would be, I don't know, it's just like a lot of negative thoughts towards myself, and you know, I'm to blame, and this is this way because of me, and it's ugly.
Does your therapist have any like suggestions around it?
Yeah, and we've been, you know, working on some stuff, and I was doing really good for a while.
What are her suggestions?
Just like when I start to get those negative thoughts, I have to pause and just take some breaths and then try to think of something, force a positive thought on myself. Something, you know, like, you know, I'm a mom of 2 beautiful girls. You know, I have an awesome husband. You know, just stuff like that to kind of like flip the script and stop with the negative cycle. Otherwise, I just keep going and going and going. And then taking time for self-care, which is, yes, so important. It's just not a reality really right now for me. I have a young baby and a toddler, and the baby's extremely dependent on me, and the toddler is, you know, codependent on me. She, you know, wants me around and needs my attention and wants it. And so the self-care just doesn't come. Like, yeah, I could do self-care if I woke up earlier than 5:45, or I could do self-care if I stayed up later than 10 o'clock. Like, you know, like, so it's just not there. Exercise, obviously, but that's not happening either because there's no time. So there's a lot of things I could be doing and should be doing, but I'm having a hard time with time management. And it's a temporary thing, and I think that's kind of
that stuff gets easier when your kids get older.
A little older.
I promise.
Yeah. And that's what I'm kind of like holding out for, is I'm like, this is a hard moment. And then we talk about that too. Like, this is a hard moment right now because they are so young.
Yeah, I was not consistent, especially with workouts and stuff, until Ben was 4 or 5, maybe. It just, I mean, in the same cycle as you, but also it just doesn't happen.
Right.
Timing-wise. You're not sleeping, like, you have
a little,
those other things are
a little person, that needs you. And it's, I mean, when we were in Texas, I did really good with working out. Mac was 1 to 1 and 1.5. But so I would like.
But you weren't working.
I wasn't working. I was home all the time. So her and I would I'd do my workouts, and she'd kind of like do them beside me, and that was really good. And that's literally all I had. I didn't have a car. I couldn't go anywhere. So that worked really well, and that was doable. But now with 2, like, I can't. And working, and it's just, there's not a lot of time. Even like self-care Sundays, Tyler and I used to do like face masks. We don't even do that anymore. Like, I'm just tired.
Well, there's a lot of balance that needs to occur in your life. Yeah. And you know, it's really hard to get to the point where you want to work out, where you want to do self-care.
Yeah. When you're so in that depression.
Exactly.
Yes. So true.
It just freezes you in that moment. And it's really hard to get out of that. And then you finally get yourself out of it. Then you have to carry it out.
Yes. Yeah. Right? One little bump in the road can totally put you back at the beginning and make you, and freeze you again. I love that. Like freezing. Yes.
And when you mentioned the going out on the boat, like you just...
Yeah, couldn't.
Yep. The last minute change like that throws you in a tailspin.
Yes.
Especially when you're already in a depression. So for me, depression, isolation, you know, in the heat of my ADHD, or, you know, needing to re-energize on my own, all those can be a blurred line for me. So it's like when I am offered to go hang out with friends, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to, but then I go and I feel all juiced up about it and I love it.
Yep.
I know I'm not depressed, right? I was kind of in a lull with my ADHD, right? Or I don't go because I physically know that I want to be by myself because it's my form of self-care.
Yeah.
And then if I don't go, kind of like what you did, I know it's because I'm in a depression. Whether I go or not, I'm not going to have a fun time. I'm not going to enjoy it. You know what I mean? So I just don't go, right? So there's all these different lines that can be blurred for me. And I really had to figure that out. Of like, okay, am I not going because I'm depressed, or am I not going because I am riddled with...
You need to recharge.
Exactly, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think for me, even with the depression, if I just forced myself to go, probably would have helped me. Probably would have put me in a better mood.
Absolutely.
It's just like working out. You know you're going to feel better after it. But getting yourself over that hurdle initially is really challenging.
So hard. But the part about being alone and recharging, I think lately that's been a big draw for me because I don't get alone time. I always have, I'm either at work or I have a child clinging to me. So I think I do need some of that.
I was going to say, and you need to be comfortable asking for that. And I know that that's something for me this past, almost a year is really asking for that and knowing that it's not selfish in asking.
Right.
But that's how I recharge, is by myself. And, I know I'm getting to the point where I need to ask for that when the kids are touching me and I'm like,
I don't want to be,
don't stop touching me. I'm overstimulated. I need to go and do my thing and be by myself.
Touched
out. Yes.
It's a thing.
Happens.
It's,
and I need to be by myself.
Yeah. Doesn't it suck to even like coming here today, I feel guilty, and that's stupid.
No.
I shouldn't feel guilty.
But we do.
And
you mentioned one of the first things that you talked about with your therapist and like what to do when you have that negative self-talk.
Yeah.
You force yourself to have a positive thought.
Yeah.
Right? For me and my eating disorder, I had a lot of body dysmorphia and a lot of judgment around that. And that was hindering me from growing, right? From, I needed to succeed. And that was something that was holding me back, was I would sit there and just destroy myself in front of a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to tell myself positive things, right? It's not just one. I told myself I have to say 3 nice things about myself.
Wow, yeah.
And then, when I do have, it's hard to think that I even had those thoughts before, like a year ago.
Yep.
And now, like, the way I talk to myself. But anyways, when I do have those thoughts, I will literally say, Shannon, you are being fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Or like, Shannon, get your head out of your ass.
Yeah.
Like, I will say things to help me get out of that. And like, you're being fucking crazy. Like you look gorgeous.
Yeah, is that really true?
Right?
Yeah.
Like, stop making shit up. Like, you're fine. You're doing great. You're saying this because you're upset about A, B, and C.
It's really great that you're self-aware enough to be able to do that, because it's hard.
It is.
It's a hard thing to recognize and to be able to be like, I'm feeling this way because of XYZ. Like, that's huge. Like,
well, once I can figure out the sole issue of my problems, I can kind of take those situations that I create in my head and like, which can trigger me into a depressive episode.
Yep.
And I can go back and like, okay, what am I feeling? I'm feeling this way. And why is it because of that? Majority to all of the time, every problem that I create in my head stems from abandonment. My fear
that makes sense.
My fear of abandonment
like,
stems from that.
Wow.
Right? So if I'm sitting in my head like, Dane's probably cheating on me right now. And it's like, what the fuck? First of all, he's never given me a reason to.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, think that way. And then second, it's like, why am I thinking that way?
Right.
Because I am fearful that he will leave me.
Yeah. Yep.
Where is that coming from?
Yep.
That fear of abandonment. That trauma that I felt when my mother left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So it's like finding that soul, like, fear really helped me understand my thinking process, what's going on, why I react.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We've tried to work on that, my therapist and I, with me, to figure out where, like, my what do I want to say? My proneness to self-deprecation comes from. There was no moment in my life that was, like, messed me up. I'm just.
Well, there probably is, and you just haven't.
Yeah, maybe.
Found.
I don't know.
What that moment is.
Or maybe it's not. Maybe there isn't something, and then it could be these small little things that have affected you along the way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, trauma doesn't have to be, you know, a huge thing that I see. Right?
Right.
My trauma is going to look different from your trauma.
Yeah.
Or like my bottom with drugs and alcohol is going to look totally different from the next addict.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and maybe it's not just trauma. I don't know if I'm using that word too openly, but maybe it's like a comprised.
Yeah.
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 You know.
No, that's a good point. I know when you're talking about the, like, looking in the mirror and stuff, something that we've been working on lately is kind of like an exposure therapy. Well, it's been like, and I tell her, I'm like, I don't like this because it's my issues with body, and granted, like, I've had kids, and so it changes a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that's there that wasn't there before, and it's not necessarily pretty, but she's like, you know, look in the mirror, and, like, if, you know, hold your baby, hold, you know, the life that you brought to this world, and tell yourself that you're beautiful and that you're strong and you were able to, you know, bring life, and that's amazing. And just like, I'll go to her and be like, I can't, this still isn't comfortable for me. This is not working. I can't, like, it pains me.
I was going to say, my therapist had me do a similar exercise, but gave me a list of, like, all of these positive traits, and had my husband fill it out for me because he sees me different than how I see myself.
Yeah.
If I looked at that list, me in my normal state would probably only pick a couple of those things, where he circled 75-80% of that list, and things that I wouldn't necessarily pick out for myself. And then, you know, her, same thing, you know, read that back to yourself in the mirror, and I'm like, that I'm still not comfortable with that, but being able to see it from that perspective of, like,
that's really
somebody
great
that loves you unconditionally can pick out all of these things and
that you would never see
exactly
in yourself. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's a lot of changing our mindset too, right?
Yeah.
Like, we programmed ourselves through the years to say these things to ourselves.
Yeah.
And now it's a whole mental shift, right? Just like when I got sober, I didn't put down the drink and everything was fine. I had to change my entire lifestyle, my entire thinking process.
Yeah, it's hard.
And that's also what happens when, you know, we try to better ourselves through our depression and whatever else, and this body dysmorphia and, you know, shit talking on ourselves. And it's, you know, I love the exercise that she said, hold your baby.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we have a stomach we don't like, but what is that stomach doing for you? It is bringing you, you know, life, nutrients, you know, like that. Yep. And what comes in front of that is protecting your organs, you know, like, saying these positive things will come easier to you.
Yeah.
And if you allow it.
That's the thing too. And I think, like, it's hard and it takes work, and I'm still in the work right now because it's.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things that I heard, and it's the person that we both follow that we were talking about earlier, she talked about being like we're in our mid-30s, 35, 36-year-long car wreck. And you don't heal overnight from something like that.
Yeah.
It's all of those things that compound and make it worse. And, all of those negative thoughts and those habits and things that we've built is like a significant car crash.
Yeah.
And you're not just do these things and you're immediately fixed overnight. It doesn't work like that. It's the ongoing therapy and maintenance and rehab, rehab for yourself and your thought processes and all
Plus,
of
you
that.
hit 30 and nothing fucking goes back the way it was usually. Hangovers are different. You sleep wrong and you're in pain for 4 days. It's bullshit. Metabolism's gone.
What I like to think about is like learning how to walk, right? Mm-hmm. Babies don't just, we're not like gazelles.
If they just came out walking.
Yeah, we don't get pushed out and we can fucking run, right? Like it's a whole process, tummy time, on your knees, then you're crawling or drag, whatever it may be, and then you have to slowly get to that point, right? It's just like when we're training ourselves how to talk to ourselves better, right? It takes practice.
I'm just laughing because I found out a couple years ago that I don't walk right.
What?
Why have I never?
I've been walking wrong all my life. Well, apparently I just have like my knees cave in a lot. And
there are some people that you notice that. I've never noticed that on you.
I have never noticed that either. But then she was like, okay, try like keeping your foot arched and I was like practicing these moves. And she's like, that's how you're supposed to be walking. And I was like, I've been walking wrong my whole life.
You need to go to Fleet Feet and get some good shoes.
I did get some inserts. I did end up getting it. But it was just funny that you said that. And you're like, it's like learning to walk. I'm like, I'm still not doing that right.
Right.
So how can you be expected to say all these nice things to yourself if you still at 35 can't walk?
That's just so funny.
Oh
shit balls.
Something else that really helped me change my mindset was writing on my mirror.
Yes.
See, that's what I did with those positive traits that my circled for me is I wrote them on the mirror and then try to read them back to myself.
That.
Yeah,
I'd write that on the mirror and Tyler's going to come home and be like, what the fuck? I'm like,
Becca's like, I don't like that on the mirror. Oh. I just wiped it off. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I just kind of put it around the rim.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in
at Dad's house in the basement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every day. And I would just look at it and, I would train myself to say certain things, And
yeah. It's tough. I know it. I'm just like thinking of like how natural it is for me to like my form of defense is self-deprecation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love to joke about all the things that I find wrong with myself. And so that's what I do, I make jokes about being overweight and being out of shape and all this stuff. And it's just like how I deal, but it's not attractive and it doesn't help me, but it's like, it's just my default and my defense and so trying to rewire all of my little brain cells to not do that, not go down those paths.
Is there like a time that you notice like, oh shit, I'm like going down the hole of depression?
That's a good question.
I know mine's tied to my cycle.
Is it?
Yeah, and I can definitely tell when I'm like a week out because I am like more withdrawn.
Yep.
I'm quieter. I am more on edge with the kids. I'm snippier.
Yep.
Resentful.
Yep.
And I can tell when it's close or that time because those hormonal swings. Obviously you're in a different season because you're still breastfeeding
and it's been like every other week I'm spotting
those kinds of things. It's hard.
I do get super horny like 3 days before. That's when I know I'm getting my period. But no, do I notice the depression? No. That I'm not in tune to. But if I'm wanting some action, then I know something's coming.
At least you know you'll be in a good mood.
Exactly. No, I am not aware of myself slipping into it until I'm in it. And I'm really in it. And then I'm like, oh fuck, I'm just in a really bad space right now. I'm becoming and I didn't used to even be that. I didn't used to be aware of those lows. That's something newer. The self-awareness is a work in progress. So yeah, I think I've come a long way in just the sense that I can recognize it while I'm in it now. But yeah, going into it, I don't, which would be great if I could, because hopefully, I could work on stopping it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely tell when I'm starting to go downhill. Sometimes I don't take the actions that I need to prevent myself from going to the bottom. And then once I'm in it, it's like, okay, fuck, it's really hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
It is.
But when I start having like really bad self-talk, negative thoughts, and it's like over-consuming me.
Yep.
That's when I know.
Yeah.
And then there's sometimes a sporadic like little cry fest, and it's
Yep.
like, here we go.
Yep.
I know what I need to do now, but sometimes I bypass that. And
yeah, I used to cry a lot, but with the amount of meds that I'm on now,
I was gonna say,
don't cry anymore.
Yeah, that has drastically changed since meds, and yeah, I'm not crying at the drop of a hat.
Yeah,
kind of deal.
Do you find yourself? Do you still like? I found that I don't really cry as much, but I also don't I don't have the low lows, but I'm also not having the high highs. Like I don't.
Oh no, not so much.
That's good. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not.
I mean, medication definitely affects everyone differently.
Yeah, it's definitely.
And different medications.
Yeah.
Different medications affect you differently, right?
And the one I'm on right now is like, because it's safe to do while pregnant and while breastfeeding. And but part of me is like, I wonder if I do need to switch, and that's always such a scary thing. I hate switching.
The transition is tough.
Because and then you don't know if the one that you're going to start taking is going to work or not, and it takes a couple months for it to really get in your system.
Yeah, I haven't gone through that. I've just been on the ones.
Well, there's a whole weaning process you have to do, and then there's starting the new medication, and it takes months for it to sometimes work, and then you got to deal with all that. It really is.
It's a pain in the butt too, and I haven't done it any change since pre-kids. So with kids now, it's a whole different.
Yeah, like you can't. Yeah, you don't have the choice, the opportunity or the luxury or whatever to just
play, not play around with it, but experiment and see what works. I mean, I might have to, but it scares me to think about. Your poor brother puts up with a lot of shit from me.
But they're young. I was going to say, and they won't know. They won't remember.
Yeah, that's true.
If that is something that you need to play around with. It's better to do that now.
That's a really good point that I didn't think about. Was they're young.
Doesn't make it in the moment any easier.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I know it's like terrifying. But that being said, like I'm like on it's like I don't care. It's sertraline, like a generic Zoloft. But yeah, I'm up to like 100 milligrams now, and. I coast. I don't get the high highs. I don't get the low lows. I like brown out after like two glasses of wine. Like I should not drink on this medication.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love how you use the term brown out, because my last interviewee Teddy, he was talking about brownout. I was like, did you really just say
I don't even know
brownout?
what
Brownout.
that is.
It's like you
not,
kind of remember.
It's not a full blackout.
Yeah.
Never heard
it's like
that.
Neither.
You've never heard of brownout?
No, because I only blacked out.
I thought you were saying
Talk about poop.
Yeah.
There is a lot of brown that comes out of me.
Avoid talking about poop when we're together as a family.
That's right.
We always
Shout out to Lori if she's
Hi,
listening.
But yeah, the lows, lows, and the highs, it definitely, all medication affects people different, right? Like weight gain, weight loss, loss of appetite, you know, sex drive.
Yes.
Just, it affects everything, and it affects differently, and it's really hard to find that right medication.
Yeah, it is tough.
It's been, you know, I'm that little guinea pig that, you know, it took years for me to finally get comfortable on a set, you know, medication regimen, you know, and it's not just one that I have to take.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, was there ever a point in your life where you had different thoughts about medication?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like the stigma against taking stuff. Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't want to be one of those people that had to take something.
Yeah.
But once you find something that works, you're just like, why didn't I do this sooner?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes you just need it. It's not your fault. You like have a chemical imbalance, and it's okay. It's okay to need meds.
Right. I was gonna say we're always good about taking meds for headaches and things like that. Like why is it any different?
Yep.
And it's just the society stigmas around that I think it can be really challenging to ask to have that conversation. You know, to have that conversation, to even go down that rabbit hole. Yep. It's scary to think about. Because then you're that person, you know, and it's crazy to me. But I felt the same way, you know.
Yeah, it's tough. And then, I don't know. I guess, like, not wanting to be the person that needs to take, you know, prescription medication. But then. I'm trying to think of.
I was going to say, but if you had any other disease, if you had diabetes or, you know, something that was hereditary, it's hereditary, you know, like these are things you can't avoid. And we don't put a stigma on that for other people and other diseases. So why is it any different? It's crazy to me.
It is crazy.
For me, I also thought that I didn't want to be that person that has to take drugs. It's also, I don't want to rely on drugs. I don't know what's in it. I don't want it in my body.
You early sobriety and you're like, I don't want anything in my system.
Because I worked a 12-step program and old timers, it is unfortunately, it's depending on who you're talking to, it's frowned upon.
Yeah.
But I hit a point where there was almost no return.
Yeah.
And it was not an option.
Yep.
Right? And then now I'm a little more wise as time has gone on.
Old lady over here.
Yeah,
I got better.
Yeah, I don't have that idea. And for, you know, the idea of not wanting to take prescription medication in the first place, you know, I don't want to have all this extra stuff in me. I don't know what's in the drug or whatever.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is like I spent
how many years?
10 years putting just random drugs in my body. I don't even know the name. I don't even know what substance is in it.
I know. I was going to say, or where, what it was actually.
You know, like
there was no nutrition label.
Exactly. There's no like manual on how to use it either, right? But I'm not going to take this, you know.
Yeah.
It's just a weird thought process.
It is.
Once I needed it and it was prescribed to me and I was able to use it as prescribed.
Yep.
and it helped,
It was like, oh shit.
everything changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like you need it.
Yeah. It's like somebody flipped the light on.
Yeah.
Yep. It's, and I don't know, I'm envious of your journey on how, like, you got to that point. I had to just go to the doctor's office and be like, listen, I'm pretty sure I'm depressed. Help me. And they were just like, okay, here's some pills. You know, like I had to advocate for myself.
I think that's really important because a lot of people have a hard time with that. And I had to do the same thing. I mean, I had my physical, I'll say November of last year, right around when I started therapy. And I said the same thing. I'm really depressed. And my doctor said, well, it's COVID. Everyone feels that way. And good luck finding a therapist. They're really hard to find right now.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's what
I
they
said,
said.
And did you
okay.
say I'm switching PCPs?
No, I didn't. And I should have.
Yeah.
I should have. And instead I said, okay, I'm going to go. I went through BetterHelp, online.
Yep.
Because I live in an area where there is
It's
a
hard.
lot going on. It's hard. I can't, when I'm working from home, just scoot out and go see a therapist around the corner because I live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen. I can't
Yep.
go before work because I have kids by myself, and I can't go after work because then I miss out on my family time. So
Right.
when do I go, So I, found a therapist online and then had the conversation with my doctor. And I did see a different primary at that point, but just that I'm not okay. I need help. And then just saying, well, everyone's depressed because of COVID is not the answer here. This started way before that, and just saying that isn't helping
And shame
me.
on that doctor.
Isn't helping me.
That makes me really mad.
Yeah.
Right, and using the term so vaguely of, well, everyone's depressed, it's COVID.
Yeah.
Or everyone's anxious because it's COVID. It's like, no, this
Go
has
fuck
nothing to do.
yourself.
It has nothing to do with COVID, but COVID
Is not helping it.
Exasperate,
Yeah.
put magnifying glass on it for me, and being stuck and overtouched with kids around and volume control, all of those things made it that much worse.
Yeah.
And the added stress levels and mandatory isolation, not isolation that that I chose for myself, but those kinds of things, hyper focus, or put that made it that much worse. And so being able to advocate for yourself
is huge, but like
super important.
I just wish, like, I almost wish I had gotten a questionnaire to fill out. Like, I don't even know what kind of nobody's ever like told me, oh, this is the type of depression. Is it a generalized anxiety and depression? I don't know. I have no idea what my diagnosis is, because I don't think I've officially ever been diagnosed. I mean, I'm sure if I asked my therapist, like, what do you consider me? She would tell me what she thinks, but like my doctors just started prescribing shit without, so I would love to know, and maybe that could help, but I want to jump back to something you said, volume. That has been a big trigger for me. And
it's so bad. And for me, I love my children so, so much, more than anything in this world. But good Lord, my older child has no volume control.
Yeah.
But he also likes to make noises all the time, fidgeting with things, making noises himself. And I snap. I can't. Clicking of a pen, like those things, like just, it is a switch, and it makes me angry. And I tune out, I flip out, and then I tune out.
Yep.
And it's a major thing for me, and it's hard to explain that to kids.
Yeah.
And hard to explain, I cannot have you touching me right now.
Right.
And I love you, and I'm really sorry. But then it turns into I'm a terrible mom.
Right.
Because I tell them to shut up.
Yep.
And I tell them to stop touching me.
Get away from me.
Get away from me. Go to the
Yes.
other room.
Yep.
I need some quiet time, It's, it's crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah. Mine has been like the TV being on, and then Tyler likes to listen to podcasts, but before it used to just be out loud. And so there was this TV with Coco Melon singing, and then Tyler's political podcast, and I'm just like, I can't. I need something needs to go. There's too much. There's too much going on. Plus Mackenzie talking to me. Plus Riley crying. Like, it makes me want to explode, and it's too much. And like, so
or the kids talking at the same time.
Yeah.
Granted,
one of them just
Riley's
babbles.
not talking yet, but once they both start, I'm like, you need to stop.
Yep. One
at a time. I cannot.
Who gets the talking stick?
I cannot handle it. Yeah. It is crazy.
Yeah. It's so fun. I didn't think to put that together.
Oh yeah.
Like that the noise, like volume and noise and stuff was, but yeah, it totally makes sense. And yeah.
Ben will sit there and just like tap his feet on the couch and like, can you stop? Just stop, because you're adding noise and I can't handle. I can't handle it, and I don't know why. That has not gotten any better, I don't think, with the medication. I think it's just a pet peeve of mine.
So I've started putting my AirPods in because they're noise canceling.
Oh.
I don't even listen to anything. It just dulls the noise a little bit, and that helps.
Yeah. It's good to sit in silence.
Yeah, sometimes I just need it.
That's what we did in Florida. We didn't talk a whole lot. We just sat.
Sounds wonderful.
We always joke about going on vacation and having a day where we don't even talk to each other. Yes. We just sit in silence.
Sounds great.
I was going to say, go on a date with Tyler. He's very good. So how's it going? Good.
Oh, man.
Did you have a good time? Yeah. It was fun. Oh, okay.
How's that unicorn brush, Shannon?
I like it. It's cute.
I know. Okay.
So talking to Tyler can be kind of challenging. Do you feel like you have like support? Maybe not just with him, but like everyone else.
Yeah. So, I've only just really started talking about this kind of stuff out loud more. I'd say over the past like couple years, I'm working on being a better communicator with him about what I need. 'Cause it's tough, like, 'cause he's a good example of he doesn't understand 'cause he doesn't have those issues. And it's hard for him to know what it's like to put himself in my shoes. So I've really worked on opening up to him about like, okay, like right now this is what I'm feeling and this is what I need. And sometimes I don't exactly know what I need. I just need him to know where I'm at in my head. And he's been really, really receptible. And is that the right word?
Receptive.
Yeah. Receptible. Receptible.
You sound like me.
You made up a word. Accepting, acceptable. He's been really open and good about stuff, and he's actually even started asking, okay, like, what do you need from me right now? And sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I need. But yeah, it's gotten better. And I mean, I don't really talk about it with too many other people. I mean, I've started talking with you guys a lot more lately, and that definitely, it helps to have people that will listen and that understand. Having the soundboards is great. And then having a therapist too, like, that's been huge. In terms of just like, it's an outside party that you can just like go and vent to. And
do you go in person?
I went in person at the beginning, and then because I started seeing her in like January or February of last year, and then everything shut down, and then we started doing phone, and that I have like a weird phone, damn millennial, phone phobia thing. Ugh, I hate calling on the phone, but we did that for a while. Sometimes we do like the live video, but actually she got a new office, and I started going to her new office.
I need to find somebody new, because I was doing it through BetterHelp, but it's so expensive.
Yeah, because is it covered?
Like $400 a month.
Oof, is that just
for like one visit a week? But her schedule was so busy, so it was really, I only got 2 visits a month.
Oh no,
it was so expensive. So I stopped. I've definitely learned and processed a lot and got a lot of great tips, and Shannon's sitting there with her mouth wide open. It was so expensive, but I didn't have anything else I could do at the time. I couldn't get a referral from my doctor. I couldn't, I was going through MD Live online, like through my health insurance to try to get a referral. I wasn't getting anywhere. So it was a really good lifeline to kind of get me started. But I think, I do want to try EMDR. I want to try, a different therapist. Not that I want to rehash everything, because I don't know how helpful that is to continue to like re-talk about all the trauma. And, I don't want to have to rehab all those conversations every time. So I think that's part of my hesitancy in going and trying to find someone new, because that's the story, right?
Right. And
I don't know.
And then, for somebody new they have to know the whole story for them to know how to, ooh.
Yeah, well, the whole town knows my story, right? Like, I've had to tell it to my mentors.
I feel like that's so annoying.
I've had to tell it to multiple therapists. I had to find therapists that I'm going to connect with. And if I'm not going to connect with you, best believe I'm not going to sit here and give you more information.
And that's tough, too.
So, you have to talk about it. Exactly. You have to interview them. You have to talk about it and get it out. And then once you find that person, it's going to be that much more easier. And it sucks bringing up the past and the trauma and stuff, but that's the only way that I have grown. If I didn't talk about it, I would not grow. Yeah. So as much as it sucks and as uncomfortable as it is, I've done steps around it through the 12-step program multiple times.
Yeah.
I went through 3-4 therapists, a psychologist. I've shared my story, and I've gotten to a point where I no longer allow it to control me.
Yeah. Would you say some of that is like almost like an exposure that you're like, you have gotten so comfortable with telling it because you've told it so many times that it doesn't have the same effect?
Willow, you can't come up here.
She says, yes, I can. I think being able to talk about it and having that exposure has helped me. But it's also having other thoughts and opinions, that outside voice.
Oh, no. Oh, Willow. You can't fit through here. You're going to mess up the cords.
There's a pupper trying to get on the couch.
You're going to mess up the cords.
Willow, come. But yes, so the exposure has definitely allowed me to heal that much more.
Yeah.
Because I was able to get outside like professional wisdom around it.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting.
And it's more so of like understanding what happened. Understanding my feelings around it.
Yep.
And understanding how to deal with it, and finding out what is appropriate.
Yeah.
How people treat me. I don't know right from wrong unless I know right from wrong, right?
Right.
I had to learn through talking to people, like, what is appropriate?
Yeah.
What my mother did, was that appropriate? Is that what other mothers do?
Right, because you didn't know any.
Exactly. I only knew that way, right?
Yeah.
I can choose to have people in my life, and I get to choose how people treat me, right? So me being able to open up to these people, I was able to learn these other things about me and how to treat people and how I want people to treat me.
Yeah, how to surround yourself with the people that are going to be good for you. And
right.
Yep. I choose you, Pikachu.
I feel like the thing that helped me kind of around that is so our mother's mother, when she passed away earlier this year, I was all, I don't know, bent out of shape, had all these emotions around it. And my therapist was like, well, you don't really know her. You don't have a relationship with her, right? I'm like, no. So if it was a random stranger, would you be this upset about it? I'm like, no, like I would feel bad, right? But I would move on. And like putting things like that in that context, like if that was a stranger, because they basically are, they were not a part of our lives, you know, would you have these same emotions around it? I'm like, no. And I never thought of it that way, you know, like I never, I never gave a stranger, you know, a thought like that because they're a stranger. And so why am I giving all this energy and emotion to someone who worked hard to be a stranger?
Right. Well,
you know?
I think lot of, it absolutely is. And I think a lot of that confusion as to why we're upset about losing a stranger is because as
they're not
society,
supposed to be a stranger.
Yes.
You're living up to the stereotype that society has dictated.
You
that
need to be there for your family.
Yep.
This is your grandmother. This is your elderly. We need to look up to them. This is the person that brought us into our life. You know, like we have all these stereotypical norms played into it.
This is how you're supposed to act.
Right. And this is like a belief that we have. Yep. Like you're supposed to care that your grandmother died. Yeah. You know, you're supposed to care and be in your mother's life or whatever. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. You know, like, no.
Yeah. Yep.
That's not how my life is playing out. That's not how I was raised. So that's where we have to have that shift in our mind of like, okay, this is why I'm upset, but I don't need to carry that weight because she is a stranger.
Yeah.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Totally. I think the same thing comes with fucking social media and
absolutely.
Like how I'm supposed to be as a mom, and you only see like the positive things that people post. Of like, oh my God, look, they're baking cookies with their daughter and they're taking their daughter to some farm and they're doing this and they're doing that. And I should be doing all those things. And
that's not reality.
And it's not reality. It's not fucking reality. And I'm really starting to hate social media. And I'm like, bleh, and I'm so fearful of my girls growing up with all this.
I know.
You know, like, yeah.
And just be mindful about it. That's what we do with Ben. And, you know, he's 10 years old and he doesn't have a phone and he doesn't have a social media account. He doesn't have free reign of his devices and things like that. And other kids his age do. But that's not healthy.
No.
I know it's not healthy for me. Yeah. And I know he watches YouTubers and, you know, all of these people. And, like, TikTok. I can see him getting, you know, immersed in those things. And I don't want to add to it by giving him free reign to those things because I know it's not healthy.
Yeah. It's so crazy, the like, I don't know, the fakeness of it all and just the bullshit, and you're surrounded by these images and
have
videos.
You tried like taking time away from social media altogether?
I haven't. I don't do much
She's
anymore.
Never on because she doesn't see all my memes that I send her.
I know. I don't. I'll go. Like I went through this morning. I was like, oh, these are like you guys both sent me
about all these dancing videos back and forth to each other.
Well, a lot of the things you send, by the time I look, they're already expired. Yeah, and I'm like, oh man. But like, I check every once in a while. And then, like, I'm part of a mom's group on Facebook.
I'm not on Facebook. I can't do it. That is pure dumpster fire.
Yeah, it really is. But this one mom's group is pretty good. And I'm like, I'm an admin, but I don't really do. I've taken a big step back. But my friend had started it, and it was like 30 of us originally, and now we have like 2,000 people.
Wow.
But it's the others, I don't do much, work very hard to keep it like supportive only, and like, and it's hard. But I do get some value out of that group. There's some good stuff that goes on there.
I was going to say that's good. Even though what somebody sees as a positive comment, it could be totally a backhanded, comment too. And so that's, I'm like,
it's really tricky, and there's a lot of it's hard, and it takes a lot of work. It's definitely a labor of love for my friend, and
comparing yourself to others is
but we've also like it's a community of like you can go and be like, listen, I'm having a really hard day. Like, I wanted nothing to do with my kids. Do you guys feel that way? Ever feel that way? And there's, yes, oh my God, yes, please don't feel bad. But, so that kind of stuff, it's really good. And, like, the stories people say, I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Like, our 3-year-old isn't the only one who does that. That kind of stuff. So I do go on a little bit for that group. But other than that, I don't. It's all just bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Yeah. It is. And I feel like when I get in that mindset where I'm having really negative thoughts and emotions and self-talk.
Yep.
It's because you were on social media that day.
After I was on social media. And it's like I'm comparing myself to these bodybuilders.
Yep.
These like, this is their lifestyle, their job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm comparing myself for like people that have more views on their podcast or better microbladers or, like I can find any and every way to compare myself to anyone. And that can also send me into a tailspin.
Yeah.
So social media is definitely you gotta definitely limit and restrict yourself to certain things.
Yep. Yeah. Maybe I do need to do a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
Because I hate it.
It's hard on my end because I do a lot of social media.
You do a lot of posts for your stuff.
The podcast and for microblading and having to be on there and posting and advertising. You know what I mean?
Well, and you had even mentioned, like, I think you had like posted something and somebody had like made a not nice comment or something.
Yeah, on YouTube, someone said something rude about the podcast and they're like, you're probably not even an addict. It's like, I don't need your negativity. I mean, thank you for the interaction so I get more analytics.
Right, right.
But like, you don't know me. I don't need your negativity because I could feed into that much more.
Right.
Even though I have no idea who this person is.
Right. Yeah. And there are people out there that just troll like that. They're just
Thank you for your rude comments. I have said way meaner things to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
good
seriously. Yeah.
Good try.
Yeah. But like that's something kind of to like just to be aware of, like, because you are trying to like get your content out there. Just like don't let assholes bring you down, because there are people that's what they get off on. They get off on making other people feel miserable for no reason.
Right.
So
I want to know what those people do for a living, because they sure seem like they have a lot of time on their hands.
Who knows? But in wrapping up, what's one thing that you would want our listeners to take home? We covered a lot.
Yeah, advocate for yourself. If you aren't feeling right, look into it and try to figure out what's going on and get help. It's okay to need help. It's okay to take meds. It's okay to see a therapist. It's encouraged. Like, even if you don't have a bunch of mental health issues, sometimes you just need to let shit off your chest. That's a neutral party outside of your friends and family. I would if you can find a therapist that works, do it. Like, it can be a process, but it's amazing and it's worth it. And then ignore the stigmas on meds. Sometimes you just need it. So that's what I want people to take away.
Shelby?
And also, you probably shouldn't drink when you're on meds. Sometimes you're doing it.
Welcome to my recovery podcast, Becca. I'm just kidding.
Well, I would say the same thing. The stigma on meds, and knowing that just because you're on meds doesn't mean you have to be on them forever either. Maybe it's just a season.
Yep.
To get you over that hurdle, to get you started in talking and processing through some of the things that you need to work through. I don't know if I'll be on meds forever. If I am, that's totally cool. If I'm not, that's cool too, but at least I was able to say I need some help to get over this hurdle, to make some forward progress. And there are probably many, many, many more people out there that need that just haven't felt comfortable enough to reach out and ask for that help.
Yep.
So yeah.
My one takeaway is become your best friend.
Ooh.
Be your best friend.
Yep.
That hits heavy.
because I am my worst enemy.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot
Yeah.
to learn to be my best friend.
Yep. Yeah, that's
Because I would never talk to my friends or you guys
the way,
I talk to myself.
I was just going to say, that's either I wouldn't want somebody talking to my daughters the way I talk to myself, or I wouldn't want somebody talking to my younger self the way I talk to myself.
That's what gets me, is like thinking of my younger self and the pain that I have been in. That, like, if you want me to cry automatically, tell me about my younger self. Like, that tears me. And that's where I first started before my best friend idea. It's, would I ever have talked to my younger self that way?
Yeah.
You know, so it's more so of like, what are you gonna tell your younger self? Like, you're okay.
Yeah.
You got this.
Yep.
You're fucking strong. You're gonna kick ass.
Yeah.
You're gonna do big things. You know, like, start talking to yourself like it's your younger self, your best friend.
Yep. I love that.
Yeah. You're the only one you got, so.
Amen. This has been a heavy episode. Not nearly as funny as the first one we did.
No, it hasn't.
Part 2 leaves it's a heavy load. I get it.
We'll have to do part 3.
That was a poop joke.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to end it on a poop joke for y'all.
All right. Thanks again for being on the episode.
It's been real.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we'll do it again.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.